Good morning, dear children. How are you all? Hope you're all fine. Welcome back to our English grammar class. And the topic which we are concentrating, the topic name is reported speech or direct indirect we can call. Whereas in our previous class we have discussed about all the tenses which have changed from the direct speech to indirect speech. Whereas certain tenses are there which cannot change. For example, past perfect tense, then again future tenses. So there in the future tenses, instead of a will we are using would. Even in the past perfect tense, only we can change it out as if it is the pronoun we can change, and that as a conjunction we can use. But remaining tense formation will be the same itself, then verb will be the same itself, no changes at all. So certain things which we have discussed so far. Whereas in the previous class onwards, I mean to say since yesterday onwards, we have started to discuss about examples which are related to direct indirect speech. It may be the examples of a present tense, past tense or future tense. Examples of interrogative, or it may be the examples of imperative. Whatever the examples are there which can ask in your examinations, or it can be asked in your day-to-day life. So there about such kind of examples we are going to notice out. My dear children, in today's class we are going to concentrate towards a certain examples which are related to interrogative. So from direct speech of interrogative to indirect speech of interrogative we will try to change out. Then in tomorrow's class again we will concentrate towards certain example which are related to time based or the timelined examples will concentrate. So whereas certain examples have mentioned on your board, the examples number 6, overall the 6 examples are there. We'll concentrate each example from direct speech to indirect speech. Let us try and change it out how it can be. Okay, and along with me I hope that you will also work. So please sit with your pen and the pencil when the class starts. So let's concentrate towards the example number 1 in the direct speech. So whenever we are concentrating towards the reported speech or the direct speech, so there we have to understand it is in which tense. We need to understand the tense. So after understanding the tense, then it will be easy for us to change from the direct speech to indirect speech. Not only the tense, even we have to concentrate about the pronouns. So the pronouns from direct speech to indirect speech, how it will change. Suppose here in the sentence you can find that you, it is there. What do you want? She asked. So this is the question which we can find it out. Here the pronoun is you. Pronoun is you. So in case when we are using the you as a pronoun in the direct speech, when we are changing it into indirect speech, it will become I. It will become I. So certain examples are there which are explaining us about the changes of a pronoun. But whereas so far, I mean to say around 25 days over when we have started the reported speech. So since the day 1 onwards, continuously we are concentrating towards certain examples. So let us focus towards the few more examples which are there in the interrogative of direct speech. Let's concentrate towards the example number 1. What do you want? She asked. What do you want? She asked. Try to change it out. How we can change? First understand that it is in which tense. So obviously we can understand that definitely it is in the simple present tense. So when we are changing it into interrogative form, it should be what? Simple past tense. Indirect speech when we are changing, it should be in the simple past tense. So simple past tense helping, simple present tense helping verb do we have used, then is it possible by us to use the did in the simple past tense when we are changing it into indirect speech? Absolutely not. Because do to did if you are changing, then it will become interrogative of direct speech to interrogative of indirect speech it will become. What we need to do, it is in the interrogative form of a direct speech. When we are changing it into indirect speech, it should be in the assertive form. So let's focus towards that. What do you want? She asked. Here we can imagine anything. She asked me, we can take it out, right? So let's go with that. She asked me what I wanted. She asked me what I wanted. See, want is the verb here. V1 we can call when we are changing from the simple past to simple present of direct speech to in indirect speech, it will become simple past. Wants V2 is wanted. Wants V2 is wanted. See, what do you want? She asked. It is in the direct speech. In indirect speech, it will become she asked me what I wanted. Or you can take that as a conjunction also, you can take out. She asked me that what I wanted, right? It is in the interrogative. We have changed it into assertive form. Let's focus towards the example number 2. But before moving towards the example number 2, first understand. Here we can understand. We have written down what do you wanted. What do you wanted? So you has changed as a I. What she asked me that what I wanted, because directly she is asking me. I am at front of her. So therefore she is asking me what do you want? What do you want? If in case somebody is asking me this question when I am standing in front of them, so then definitely it is me itself. So when I am explaining what she asked me to somebody else, if I am explaining, then it should become that she asked me what I wanted. Hope you are understanding. What do you want? If she is asking me like this, then indirect form, if I am explaining the same sentence to third person, first person, second person conversation is going on. If I want to explain to third person, so then definitely I am using the word that she asked me what I wanted. Hope you are understanding the situation, sir. So you will change as a I, right? Let's focus towards the example number 2. Do you like a coffee? He asked. Do you like a coffee? He asked. So now say that it is in which tense? Obviously it is in the what? Simple present tense. Do you like a coffee? He asked me. What sort of an interrogative sentence it is say? Definitely it is in the yes or no type of interrogative sentence. My dear children, we have clearly discussed that in case if you are facing yes or no type of questions in the direct speech, when we are changing it into indirect speech, instead of using that as a conjunction, what we have to use? If or whether, right? If or whether we have to use. So now let me take if here. So with the help of if, let us change the direct speech of the sentence into indirect speech. What do you like? Sorry, do you like a coffee? He asked me. Do you like a coffee? He asked me. Here also we can find that you is there. Then obviously it is he asked. So then we can understand that do you like a coffee? It means directly somebody is offering me the things. So let us change it out. How we can change? He asked me if. He asked me if I like the coffee. He asked me if I like a coffee. Or you can use the words that he asked me that. That should not be used because that it is a restricted conjunction here. In place of that we have used if. So he asked me or he asked if I like the coffee. If I like the coffee. So here you have changed as a I, right? Even the tense also we have changed. It is in the simple present tense of direct speech and we have changed it into indirect speech of a simple past tense. Like verb V1, then liked V2 we have used here. So let's concentrate towards the example number 3. He asked him. He asked him. So it means it is about third person to third person. So here we need not to use any you, or we need not to bother about the I and other things. If it is a him, in a sense, directly we will put third person to third person only. Him itself, him it will remain. Okay. He asked him, why is the baby crying? Why is the baby crying? Most of us are generally committing a mistake when we are making interrogative. What we are doing, that why the baby is crying we are asking, which is absolutely wrong. Why the baby is crying? If I am asking these things to you, then definitely the sentence which I am using, it is absolutely wrong. 100% wrong sentence it is. Then what is the correct sentence? After the questioning one, next we have to take a helping verb is. Why is the baby crying? So this should be the question. So let's understand the question first. He asked him, why is the baby crying? So it is in which tense? So first let us understand the tense. Obviously it is in the present continuous tense, because is used as a helping verb here. Then when we are changing any direct speech of a present continuous tense to indirect speech, it will become past continuous tense. So instead of is, it will remain was, right? Now we can find the sentence into indirect speech, how it will become. He asked him. He asked him, because third person is asking to third person. Third person is asking to third person. So obviously third person to third person, if it is there, so then here also when we are changing from the direct speech to indirect speech, it will remain as a he asked him only. In case instead of a he, if it is a her, let's see that how it will be. She asked her, why is the baby crying? Third person itself it is, then we can make it out. She asked her, same things only. Third person to third person, it will remain. So let's see. He asked him, why is the baby crying? It is in the direct speech of a past present continuous tense. We'll change it out into indirect speech. He asked him, why the baby was crying. Why the baby was crying. See, is there. So is we have changed it out into indirect speech of was. So present continuous tense, direct speech. In indirect speech it will remain past continuous tense. And one more most important thing which we have to notice, my dear children, here is, why is the baby crying? It is in the interrogative. Why is. See, after the WH or after the question of why, the next is a helping verb we have used. Why is the baby crying? So in an indirect speech it will become assertive, as I have told you. It is a statement wise giving. So he asked him why the baby was crying. After the baby, the helping verb has come. After the baby, the helping verb has come. So therefore, he asked him why the baby was crying. Let's focus towards the example number 4. Does this hostel have swimming pool? The guest inquired. Okay. Does this hostel have a swimming pool? The guest inquired. So first let us understand what type of a question it is. Obviously it is in the interrogative, but what sort of interrogative it is? Whether it is a WS type of question or the yes or no type of a question we have to ask. So now see, does this hostel have a swimming pool? If somebody is asking you, what will be your answer? Obviously we may say that yes or no, because yes or no type of helping verbs, it has started with the helping verb. So therefore we can find out it is in the yes or no type of a questions, right? So yes or no type of questions, in a sense, what we have to use, if or whether. So moreover than these things, first let us understand it is in which tense. It is in the present perfect tense. It's in the present perfect tense. When we are changing the direct speech of present perfect to indirect speech, it will become past perfect. Have to, had to, right? So let's see. does this hostel have a swimming pool? The guest inquired. So when we are changing it into indirect speech, it will become the guest inquired that. If or whether we have to take here, inquired that we have to remove. If or whether we'll take the guest inquired whether the hostel had swimming pool. If also you can take it out. If the hostel had a swimming pool, like that also you can make it out. But most suitable word is whether here. So let us use the whether itself. So let's change one more time the same example. Does this hostel have a swimming pool? The guest inquired. We'll change it out into indirect speech. The guest inquired whether the hostel had a swimming pool. Have, it is in the present perfect tense. When we are changing it to indirect speech, it will become had, past perfect tense. Right? So let's see the example number 5. Are they leaving tomorrow morning? Janvi asked. Are they leaving tomorrow morning? Janvi asked. So we will change it out into indirect speech, but before moving, let us understand it is in which tense. So it is in the present continuous tense, because the helping verb are. And what sort of a interrogative sentence it is? Are they leaving tomorrow morning? If I am asking you this question to you, so what will be the answer of yours? Yes or no? So obviously we have to use, instead of a that as a conjunction, what we have to use? If or whether. So let's see that. Are they leaving tomorrow morning? Janvi asked. So when we are changing it into indirect speech, it will become Janvi asked if they were leaving tomorrow, or if they were leaving next morning or the following morning, because tomorrow morning it will become as a next morning or following morning in the indirect speech. Are they leaving tomorrow morning? Janvi asked. It is in the direct speech. So indirect speech, it will become, instead of are, instead of a present continuous tense, it will be past continuous tense. Instead of are, it will be were. So we will use Janvi asked if they were leaving next morning or the following morning. Okay. So let's focus towards the example number 6. How long should I boil an egg? He asked. So it means he is going to ask himself. How long should I? In a sense, himself he is going to ask out. In a sense, about himself he may be asking to somebody else. Okay. So first person and third person, it will be remain only one. It means it will be remain a single only. Okay. How long should I boil an egg? He asked. So when we are changing it into indirect speech, it will become he asked me that. How long should he boil an egg? Because he is asking to somebody else about himself here. He asked, see, how long should I boil an egg? He asked. It means he is asking to somebody else about himself. How long should I cook this? How long should I boil this? So such kind of a question he is going to ask to somebody else, but about it is related to himself. So therefore, the third person to third person, it will be remaining. How long should I boil an egg? So when we are changing it into indirect speech, it will become he asked me. He asked me that how long should he? You can use here he asked me, you can use that he asked her, you can use anything else. Okay. He asked me that how long should he boil an egg? Okay. Hope you are understanding the things. But one more thing you need to notice here, my dear children, we haven't used that in such type of questions where we have find that like as yes or no type of questions are there. No? There we haven't used that as a conjunction. Instead of that, we have used if or whether, and in the description type of answer questions or interrogative, there we have used that, because we can use it out. In yes or no type of questions, we cannot use because lack of possibilities and all, right? Hope you are understanding the things. Whereas in the next class of ours, will concentrate much towards the imperative sentence, which can be changing from the direct speech to indirect speech. Already we have discussed a maximum number of examples from the tense wise. We have noticed about the simple present tense to simple past tense. We have changed more than 6 or 10 examples we have discussed. Then again, present continuous to past continuous tense we have discussed around 10 examples. Like this, each tense 10 examples already we have discussed in our classes. But these are the questions which we can discuss out randomly by involving all the tenses, by involving all the things. Hope you are understanding. After finishing up the classes of this, we will concentrate towards the preposition as a particular topic we'll take, and regarding that we'll discuss. But reported speech 1 or 2 days we can extend it, because some more students are there, those who are getting a little bit difficulties in understanding. So hope you are all enjoying the class. So in tomorrow's class we'll meet again. Thank you.